What's happening, people? We are back. Got the whiteboard out. It's that time. A few things I want to run through today regarding self-development and your behaviours and getting rid of those negative low-level behaviours that could be holding you back and they don't serve you in the long run. And a lot of people are stuck wasting time and procrastinating. And I've put a few things in bullet points today, so I'm going to run through quickly each one and break them down. And I think they're key to developing yourself and to get the best out of your life and becoming the best version of yourself, which is, it's a very fucking cheesy saying, but it is true. And that's basically what everyone's aspiring to be deep down, whether they are taking action or not. Now, the first thing up is procrastination. Now, procrastination is is probably the biggest dream killer of all. Now, if you take action when you only feel good and you let your emotions dictate what you do and where you go with your life, then you're not going to get very far, and you're not going to be building mental discipline and strength, which comes from that taking action and doing it, doing what you need to do, not what you want to do all the time. Now, this is going to take sacrifice a lot of the time, and discipline. So if you really want to achieve something, you've got to really break it down and tell yourself and be honest with yourself what you need to do to get there. Now, if you're wasting a lot of time on your phone, watching bullshit TV, and these things that really don't serve you. Now, if you want to do that in your when you've planned leisure time, which I'll go into in a sec about managing your time, that's fine. But if you're spending most of your fucking day and you really want to look at your day and actually write down what you're doing with your time through the day. Now, this goes on to the next thing, which is value and manage your time. Because for me, one thing I've learned, especially as I got older, I'm a bit of a dinosaur now. So is managing your time and valuing your time, and how valuable your time is and your attention is to be giving other people. And you need to be conscious of who you're giving your time to and what you're doing every day, and break that down. So I think it's really important to plan your day. The day before is good, even so, even your week or even further, looking at the bigger picture, breaking down your goals. Now, if you actually constantly do it and write it down and look back at your day and see how much time you're actually wasting over a year, that is a lot of time. Now, you could speed up your goals and improving yourself, and let's say you're working on your body and training, and you get everything prepared in advance, or you use that time to make your meals, let's say, then you're going to really, really, in the long run, make yourself better off, and you're going to benefit a lot more from that. So I really want you to have a look at that and think the bigger picture and being a lot more conscious of your behaviour and your actions and taking action with discipline and willpower, and you'll build that mental strength, and it will become a habit, and it will subconsciously become a part of you, and then you will reach those goals a lot more easier with less effort in the long run. So if you do what's easy now, your life in the long run will be hard. Now, if you do what's hard now and you sacrifice and you have that discipline, when you'll make life easier in the long run. So that choice is up to you. Now, managing and value time, obviously related to that. I think it's really important to plan your day, plan your week, etc. Plan for the future and micromanage that and break it down. And also understand that your time is valuable, and who you give that time to that's the most precious gift you can give anyone. And what you do with it, and give to yourself, and what you do with that time. So really be conscious of that, and break it down, and also plan rest and relaxation, leisure time to spend with your friends, to recharge your body, because that's still productive, because you're being positive and you're using that time, like I said, to recharge, which is going to make you more effective, and your performance and your the time you use to work and things you do in that time, you're going to have more energy and stuff like that. So think of that as well, and don't feel guilty for having a rest when you need it, and when you should have it, because your body's going to need it. And so also the next one is optimizing your nutrition and keeping the body in a peak physical state. Now, if you're fit and you're strong and you're healthy and your body's working its best and you're putting high vibrational foods in there, that, you know, serve you and give you a lot more energy and mental clarity and focus and spiritually and that. So everything you eat downloads into your body as energy. Now, if you're eating genetically modified junk food, that has been genetically modified and that becomes you. So that will change your DNA in not a good way. And obviously the energy and the nutrients and stuff like that, you really want to be conscious of this in a bit more of a deeper level, not just with the macronutrients and the micronutrients. You want to think more energetically about that and how it makes you feel and your mood and your focus, and how much more clarity you'll have with that. And obviously with the physical body, if that's not working at its peak state, mentally and spiritually, you're not going to be at your peak state in that sort of aspect. So the body, mind and the spirit, they're all connected. I personally believe that a lot of people have got like they're winning in one part. So some people might have a really good body, but they're not really in touch with themselves and evolving mentally or in touch with their intuition and you know, growing in that sort of aspect. So I think it's really important to get all of them, you know, optimized and elevating them to become, you know, powerful and becoming, you know, your best self and who you're meant to be. And you're going to find that sort of purpose in life of who you're meant to be. A few other things I'll go to in a minute are really important. I find are really important. As you can see, I like rambling on, but we'll carry on. Okay, so this is really big one. So we've got short-term gratification, okay, which a lot of people live by this, the easy quick fixes. And this is chasing that dopamine and that pleasure. So compare that to your long-term goals, which, you know, involve sacrifice and hard work, which, you know, in terms will which will equal happiness. And we're going to compare the two now. Now we've got the short-term gratification. I'm going to use an example in a sec, which is all reward and no effort. All right, so we're going to use today. We're going to use my good mate Gary. Okay, so Gary's unfulfilled. He's doing a job he don't like. Okay, so let's say he's delivering pizzas. Now he's not fulfilling his purpose. He's not fulfilling who he wants to be. I'm not judging it, but let's say that's not who he deep down wants to be. And he's like, you know, he wants to escape from reality. So after he finishes work, he's going home and he's playing the Xbox, Fortnite or something like that it's called. So he's doing that, and then he's having some junk food to numb that emotion, which gives him more pleasure, more dopamine release. And then, you know, he's procrastinating on his goals, so he's chasing more pleasure. He might, you know, go on his phone and put some bullshit status every day on Facebook or something to get sort of stimulus and more dopamine from external people's validation from strangers you don't really know. Okay, this is just obviously an extreme example. Okay, now let's say then that he meets a girl that he doesn't really like, but he wants that dopamine release again and doesn't have a connection with her, but he just wants to use her for sex. It could be a man or a girl, so I'm not being sexist. And then he just wants to bust a nut in her. Okay, so he's got that dopamine release. It's all pleasure, and he's got that sort of short-term gratification, but then he's unfulfilled. He's wasted all his energy and his time doing low-level behaviours that really don't fulfill him. And then in the long run, he's going to be even more, you know, sort of chasing that pleasure all the time. So now let's say that compared to, let's say, if he was doing something and working towards his goals and his dreams that he wanted to do, and, you know, that time you had spare, instead of maybe going partying or doing those things like I just said as an example, and watching TV and wasting all this time, all his spare time, then yes, he might be, you know, there might be some setbacks and times when you don't feel great, but slowly but surely, if he keeps working and improving himself, his focus and his confidence and who he is, he'll find out who he is, and his direction will, you know, sort of prosper, and he'll be able to work out where he wants to go more, who he wants to be, who he wants to have around him. And I think this is really important, because I think this is one of the most common things that is in modern society now in the Western world, because we've got it so easy with the technology and like the poor diet and these, you know, instant fixes of sugar from shit food and chemicals, and then you've got all the social media. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just fucking like, it's just ruining people's discipline and mental willpower and strength. So I think it's really important to be conscious, like I said, of your actions and what you're doing, why you're doing it, So there's a few more things I want to go into which can help with this as well. So we've got an excuse me. It's related to that. Obviously, it's avoiding toxic people and environments. Now, I don't know how you know if you understand this, but I'll try and break it down quite simply. So toxic people and environments is I'm going to say it's negative energy and low vibrational situations of people and environments that can really suck the life out of you. Now, let's say, for example, that you go into, so you understand energy, let's say you go into a bar or something, you walk in there and it's got a real nice warm vibe. Now, all that is your intuition picking up on the vibrations, the energy field of that place. The opposite extreme example would be if you go into the sort of like a bar or something and it's got like a real low vibration and a dodgy vibe, and it's like, you know, and if you're around that sort of places and those sort of people, that's going to hold you back and affect your aura, your energy field. Now, I know this is not so much a superficial sort of way of looking at things, but you need to really be conscious and realize that, you know, all these things affect your energy. It's like the same with you when you're around people. Now, your intuition, your gut, never lies. So the more intuitive you are and you understand that, when you meet people, I don't know if you've ever met someone who's real, like, you know, just weird or really creepy. I don't know if you met, you know, someone really dodgy or a bit sick or something. You're like, you can feel the horrible vibrations coming off them. So, like I said, I'm just using that as an example. But who you are is who you're around and the environment you're around. So it's really important to be conscious of that. And if you've got any toxic people who drain you, that are around you, because a lot of people, they want to just suck the life out of everyone. They're takers. They're not givers. They're not connected to themselves and who they are. So they have to just take from everyone else. Now, if you're a generous person, they, you know, that you'll probably gravitate these people towards you, consciously or unconsciously. Now, I think this is one of the keys, and they say, a lot of famous people and successful people say, you are who you go to lunch with. The 5 people you have around you the most, that is who you are. And I massively believe that, and I think it's really important you're conscious of that and your environment. And I think your home is a really important place, especially with this. There's a lot of fear around now with this bullshit virus going around, which I do believe is going to come back later in the year, probably around October, to make your home sort of like your safe place of energy where you can recharge. You know, it's that sort of like, you know, even if you go out and you've got to go out and hustle and grind and do what you got to do and be around the, you know, some people maybe at work that you don't want to be around, these toxic people, but you can just limit it, you know, to that as much, minimize it and limit it. And then you've got that place that's, you know, your vibe and where you can focus and plan and do what you got to do. Excuse me. I think this is really important. Some of it's really simple, but sometimes you just need someone to open your eyes and really, you know, show you what, you know, unconsciously and consciously that you're doing. And that's what me being as a coach, I like doing, you know, I love doing for people, is to improve them and see the potential in themselves and to elevate their consciousness. Because for me, personal training is amazing and coaching is amazing, but it's not just the superficial side that people struggle with. The fucking superficial side is just the surface. Now, if we don't deal with that, the deeper levels of stuff, we don't make those long-lasting changes, and we don't make those long-lasting changes, and it's a lot harder to make those changes. So I think you need to get back in touch with yourselves and break down, like I said, your time. Be conscious of your actions, be conscious of who you have around you, everything you put in your body. And you know, not everyone wants to take things to an extreme and live like a fucking monk. I understand that, but you need to have that balance of work and play. You know, it's not all, do you know what I mean? It's not all, if you're just having that pleasure all the time, you're going to be weak. You're going to be weak to your emotions, and you're going to be weak in life, because fucking you've got no control, you've got no self-control, you've got no discipline. And I think this is really important to master that skill, to become the best version of you, that old chestnut saying again. So I'm going to keep throwing it out there so it drills. But yeah, so if you've got any other questions and you want some help with your lifestyle, any advice and some wisdom, then just hit me up. Peace.